everyone, and welcome back to Laughing in Different Languages. I'm Laura Lopez, and today I am with a very special guest. Let's please welcome Irene, Irene.
Yay! Hello. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Please tell us a little bit about your comedy journey.
So, where I grew up in Italy, tradition of theater is really strong. Okay, so in my small hometown, going to the theater was one of the main activities. In Italy, I grew up with lots of sketch comedy, lots of musical parody, musical comedy. And I think the very first stand-up was probably on YouTube, and it was actually Irish comedy. I got obsessed with Dave Allen. I watched so much of it. I've been always journaling throughout my life. I love writing. A friend of mine in London told me, but stand-up comedy in London is really big. February 2024, I went for a week and I signed up for a class. And every day was from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We were writing, doing exercises, performing. Every day we would go on stage. Plus, I was the only non-native speaker. I was not from the show business, but most of the people in the class were either actors or directors, or they had singing performances. We did a showcase at the end. I hate every minute of it. And a friend of mine told me, well, there is stand-up comedy in English. And spoke to the MC and he's like, yeah, I need some female comics. Why don't you come on in 2 weeks? 12th of March of 2024. That was my first open mic. It went well, more or less, right? People were laughing. Since then, I did 120 gigs, I would say, all across Switzerland. And so I traveled a lot as well. I went to Berlin twice, went to Barcelona for a weekend. I went to New York. And 5 days, I think I did 12 open mics. Brutal. New York is brutal for open mics. I mean, you're in a big room, just with comedians in the audience, and they're all waiting their turn, and your turn is literally picked randomly from a bucket. But I learned so much. I wrote so much those days, and on the last open mic that I did in New York was actually at the Stand.
Could you please tell us which languages you perform in?
I perform in English, in French, in Italian, and in Spanish.
Very good. And what's the difference between these languages with your experience?
The biggest difference maybe between all of them is I would say the audience, or like the references that you can make, the cultural references that you can make between the different languages, but also the rhythm, the pace. The pace is different. Like if I translate a joke from one language to the other, it's not translated verbatim, so not word by word, but maybe the punchline is different from English to French because the humor is a bit different. Or maybe if it's a pun, for example, obviously you cannot translate it literally. Yes. Even spontaneously, like, because sometimes you don't have maybe the whole text in your head, so you kind of improvise as well. Some punchline that I would do in English, in Italian, I do it in a different way, with a different intonation. I put the accent on a different word, for example. So I would say on the musicality, maybe is the difference, the main one, yeah.
Very good. I know that you are very active in the scene. Are you producing your own shows?
Yes, so I produce 2 shows per month here in Lausanne, one in English, one in French.
What keeps you motivated to continue doing stand-up?
I love that question, Laura. I really love it because people think that comedians, we always are on a high and it's always super fun and amazing and yay, great, woohoo, love it. But you have so many lows, right? But for me, I think the advantage of having started a bit later makes me take stand-up comedy as a job, right? First of all, that I get to do this, it's a privilege to be on stage. Writing keeps me motivating because I just want to test new stuff. If I see there are some problems or like some doors are closing or whatever, I create the opportunities. So it's really, that's I think the biggest strength I would say that I get from my professional experience is that I don't believe in waiting, I just believe in doing, really.
Yeah. This is the perfect answer, actually. This is inspirational as well. I don't see that you are just a beginner, let's say, because as you said, you take experience from your past jobs and you apply to this career, to the stand-up career. This is so incredibly inspiring. So thank you for sharing this answer with us. Thank you.
Thanks.
What's been your proudest moment in stand-up?
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna be honest about So a friend from Basel, another comedian, who asked me to try to do a work in progress 30-30, so split show, and so we're doing that one at the Edinburgh Fringe. We have the venue, we have everything. We even found the accommodation now,
Oh,
and so that's insane because I mean I have lots of things, I have lots of material, but then test it or not, but I do have it, and I was like, okay. 30 minutes, why not? Let me try it out. Because as I said, this year is really about exploration. So I'm just trying everything out. But I think really the proudest moment is doing this performing last year. I was like, wouldn't that be nice to do actually 100 gigs in 1 year? Exactly in 1 year. And so I did my very first showcase. It was after a stand-up comedy class in London on the 3rd of February of 2024. And this year, on the 2nd of February 2025, I was in Barcelona for some gigs. And I did exactly the gig number 100 at the Comedy Clubhouse on their Sunday show. And I did a little speech at the end of my set about it, and I was almost crying out. It was like that.
Reaching those milestones.
Yes,
like,
good. Look at me, boss.
I love it. I love that you celebrate yourself too.
Why do I track all this stuff? Because people sometimes, I mean, I tape every set that I do. It really helps me see the development.
This is where you actually see yourself. If you watch these videos, you have to judge them from a different point of view. So not the artist, but like the producer in you, right? Or the writer.
I think also having worked in a radio station, it really helped me because I had to really listen to myself so many times. So what I would do is at first I would listen into it. I would listen to the video, but not watch the video. Good. Then watch the video without the audio. And then finally my brain will accept the combination of two.
I really like that you're sharing this life hack of how to properly watch a video. It's perfect.
Love it. Love it.
Next question. Yeah. What is your creative process?
So it's funny because last night I kind of did a bit about what is my writing process, because sometimes people ask me like, how do you write jokes, right? Yes. And it's quite random at the moment. So I have paper and pen everywhere. Without this, I don't live. And on the phone is not the same. I need to write it on some paper. So sometimes I wake up and I see notes that I wrote and I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know? Or I watch specials on, like, I don't know, the stand-up specials on Netflix, and something is said and somehow the brain connects to something else, and I just write down. As soon as I have a thought, I write it down, basically. Because sometimes you say like, oh, this could be a good joke, I'm going to write it later, and then you forget.
Oh,
and I hate that.
Yes.
Sometimes it happens like, oh, I'm going to write it, I'm going to remember this, I'm going to remember this. And it's like, no, you don't. Just write it.
I am not like one of those people, one of those demented people that says, if it's a good joke, I'll remember it. Shut up.
Just write
it down. Just write it down.
We are so delusional, aren't we, Laura? So sometimes when I do some crowd work, because if I host some shows or in some of my beats, I have to talk to some people. Sometimes I realize when watching the video, there's some better joke. So I write and then I do my thing, and then I maybe improvise, or like you just change on the spot and you realize, oh, actually this is a good one, so I'm going to keep it in and kick out the one that I wrote. Yes. So it's really so as we say, right, when you're on stage, the audience sometimes they're not engaged or whatever, you know, it could be mostly our fault, of course, but the energy they give you, if I have a very energetic crowd, it goes so much better, right? Yes. Because things are coming to my brain, bam, bam, bam. If it's very calm, you know, you stuck then in your head.
And so, you get nervous, of course, if it's too quiet.
Of course, that's the usual one.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
I want to say, first of all, thanks to whoever is listening, because this is, again, is a really a dream come true. If anybody wants to, you know, follow my journey or see me in their countries, follow me definitely on Instagram. For those of you who are in Scotland, please come to Edinburgh Fringe from the 2nd to the 9th of August, performing at the Paradise in the Vault.
And what's the name of your split hour?
Guess what? It's going to be, let's see how it goes.
Okay. Very honest, very open.
Very honest. We were like, what do we call it?
It's refreshing when people are honest. Great. So this is Laughing in Different Languages. Please follow us and follow Irene as well. Right here is her username. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you so much. Gracias.
Gracias.